G'day, this is Jace. In this video, let's explore the pros and cons of the Google Pixel 7 Pro after 3 months of using it as my daily driver. I explore the cameras, the operating system, and my opinion on all the petty things. Check it out. So the Pixel line of phones has really only been on my radar since they introduced the A series. So I have the Pixel 3a, which has stood the test of time and was bang for buck when it was released. Given the major upgrades to the mobile chip and camera lenses in the 7 Pro, it was time to jump back in to see if it was worth it to move back to a Google ecosystem. As always, I like to get the worst parts out of the way first. So here are my extremely petty list of cons. So I didn't have a phone cover for the first 4 weeks to see how it would go in terms of comfort, performance and temperature. To my surprise, this phone got extremely hot after doing trivial things such as watching YouTube, listening to music, and even taking photos outside for a few minutes at a time. The heat radiates out of the plastic back just under the left side of the camera bump, or what I call the visor. So hot to a point where I would not risk putting it in my pocket so close to the family jewels. Even after a 2-minute test, the phone went cool to the touch to about the temperature of a lukewarm coffee. Not ideal. I think I was spoiled when it came to the speakers on the Samsung Fold4. The standards of what I expect have definitely increased. The Pixel has 2 grills on the bottom and uses the earpiece speaker for the top. The top speaker fires a lot softer and a different direction to the bottom speaker and therefore is not balanced when watching videos. Have a listen yourself when compared to the Pixel 3a and Samsung Fold4. In this test, the bass on the 7 Pro was lacking, as well as the mid-tones seemed to disappear at times. Even the Pixel 3a was a viable contender in this comparison. I'm going to say it, I would rather use the 3a over the 7 Pro to listen to my music as I do the gardening. Another controversial con is the way that vanilla Android 13 works on this phone. Some basic things need to be addressed that have already been on iPhones and Samsung phones for so long. Firstly, the search bar on the home screen is permanent. I never use it and never will. It just takes up space and I could use that for shortcuts that I would actually use. It's frustrating that Android prides itself on being customizable, but this is one thing that can't be changed. Sticking to the theme of the home screen, you can't manage the home screens independently of the apps. You have to drag an app onto a new screen to create one. Samsung and iPhone have done this better. Here's an example of a search via the app shelf. It's just not that smart, even typing its exact name. Typing just Booper should show the app, surely. When I transferred the backup across to this phone, it threw all the apps in the shelf with no folders. That's fine and expected. But it was not an easy process to add multiple apps to a folder. You can't select many apps at one time and simply add to a folder. It's just a one at a time process. Moving on, some people will love the design features and some will hate them. Here is what I didn't find great. The camera bump is a bit ugly and has sharp looking edges. I prefer curves. Without a case on it, the bump retains dust and dirt and easily picks up tiny scratches given that the phone rests on the bottom edge when you place it down on a table. The size is necessary to keep the phone thinner, but I would like it if the phone was thicker and the bump was smaller. It gets caught on the edge of my pocket sometimes, and I almost dropped it once because of this. So I recommend only using this phone with a case that makes the visor edge a bit smoother or less predominant. The polished aluminium frame looks awesome. Looks premium. It is definitely an amazing upgrade from plastic look and feel, but it is easily scratched. Not only that, the combination of a full metal frame backed onto plastic makes this phone at times very slippery. What's the point of a premium looking phone if I have to cover it with a case so that it doesn't fall out of my hands? This is not just a Pixel 7 Pro problem, but it's still annoying. What year is it? 2014 is calling. Curved screens serve no purpose when it comes to phones. They have to embed touch protection into the operating system so that you can basically hold the phone. Not only that, the edges catch light and distract you from what you are watching on the screen. Okay, so you guys already hate me for my cons. Let me make it up to you with the pros. I am impressed with the fingerprint sensor. I had my doubts after they moved from the capacitive sensor located on the back of the phones. But the implementation and performance is very well done. It even lights up the area so that it catches your prints in low light situations. The screen protector I got had a different material at the sensor location, so to not obstruct it. I'm not sure if it's needed or not for it to work properly. The haptics are strong and I have never missed a notification. It passed the movement tests when I called it. I like to have the strongest settings on so that I can feel it in my pocket or hear it buzzing on a table. The intensity can be independently changed for different functions such as the timer. The screen is top notch, and with OLED technology, the blacks are blacker, as they say. Not only that, the frame rate can drop to 10 Hz, meaning that always on display will take much less battery. The peak brightness is 1500 nits, which is an improvement over the previous generation, which is around 1100 nits. Here is the Pixel 3a screen to compare. It was released 3.5 years ago. Pixel has definitely come a long way when it has come to screens. This is the biggest camera lens upgrade that Google has done with their phones ever. The telephoto with 48 megapixels and 5 times optical zoom, the ultra-wide with 12 megapixels, and the main camera with 50 megapixels. I've dedicated extra time to showcase its capabilities using the features I use the most, and I went a bit overboard, but it was fun to do so. So enjoy. I tested the zoom, and the 3A only has 2 times zoom, and holds up quite well, but tries too hard to make the colours pop. 5 times optical zoom is crispy as expected, and I noticed that the ultra-wide and main lens catch a lot of lens flare, with the main lens being a bit more distracting, being at the bottom of the photos. The 30 times super res zoom is absolute trash. Just use it to zoom in and see stuff at the footy or tennis. Dynamic range and contrast on the 7 Pro videos is much better than the 3A. It is less washed out, but still catches more lens flare. Maybe due to the design of the lens, not sure. Cinematic mode is a welcome addition to the camera app. It focuses on a subject and blurs the background on the fly. A very interesting concept and worked well with slow moving subjects, but you can see minor issues with the blur with the kids on the swing. Slow-mo really works well and highlights those lens flares seen earlier. It also showcases how good the stabilization is. There are a few options, but the default option works well for most scenarios. Maybe I should have used active stabilization for the scooter videos though. I give the stabilization a big thumbs up. Last but not least, the Unblur and Magic Eraser options in the Google's Photo app. When this video was recorded, these features were still only available on the Pixel 7, as Google states that it is required to have the new tensor chip to run these options. Unblur is hit and miss, but I used it as a cool way to change the focus, even by a little bit, to the subject of the photo. The focus on some of my photos was on the background, as you can see with this wooden floor. My scooter photo also changed the whole tone of the photo to be more professional and Insta-worthy. The photos take a little bit of time to process, which is not too bad, maybe 15 seconds at most. The other cool feature is the Magic Eraser, but it mostly works on photos with a subject that starkly contrasts the background. It worked well when removing my shadow on a path, as the path is textured and the anomalies are camouflaged. These tools are definitely fun to play around with. So what do I think about Pixel 7 Pro? Well, the price is right at $12.99 Aussie, and with sales already happening, you can easily get this under $1,000, and given the powerful G2 chip and the awesome camera, it is a top contender to be targeted to a mid-market audience. And herein lies the issue. Google wants to compete with top flagship phones like Samsung S series and iPhone Pros, and when it comes to that comparison, they just missed the mark. You don't have to even go the Pro or Ultra level phones from other manufacturers to compete with the Pixel's quality and specs. Let's look at the Samsung S22 Plus. The S22 Plus is on sale for $1,099. It has similar camera lenses and screen specs and will be supported with operating system and security updates for many years to come. The S23 is around the corner, which means there could be even more discounts to be found. Going head to head, the Pixel is just not there yet, dealing with the simple things like keeping the phone cool while doing non-intensive tasks. If you are a Pixel fan, then you will not be disappointed though, and it is a worthy upgrade from previous iterations. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did,
like and subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, comment down below.
And I'll see you next time. Power out.